M4 Medical presents the revolutionary HeiQ Viroblock MPJ03 technology. MPJ03 technology has already been proven 99.99% effective in destroying SARS-CoV-2, the virus causing COVID-19. And to further explain all about the MPJ03 technology, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Murray Height, the co-founder and Chief Science Officer of the HeiQ Group.
So thanks very much for the introduction, Jeff. I myself are located in Geelong. I'm head of HeiQ Australia. So one of my hats is running the Australian business unit for the company. But the other hat I wear is Chief Science Officer for HeiQ Group globally, which is very much involved on the innovation focus of the business. So Viroblock is an antiviral and antibacterial treatment for textiles. The issue here, of course, is that textiles are a surface that we all interact with every day. And textiles are a structure that have a lot of surface area for interacting with things around us. And most of the time that's quite benign, but these surfaces can also be a surface that bacteria and viruses can become embedded into. Now, textiles, because they have this large structure to them, they can be a nice surface where these types of bacteria and viruses can remain present in that structure for quite a bit of time. And there are studies showing that there are bacteria and viruses that can remain viable on the surface of textiles from days through to months. And for example, some related SARS, early generation SARS virus, there have been studies showing that this can remain persistent on the surface of surgical gowns for 2 days. So textiles can be a surface for bacteria and viruses. And because these are present on textiles that we interact with, there's some potential there for transmission off these surfaces. And this is really the background for motivating the HeiQ Viroblock treatment. The Viroblock technology platform addresses a number of different areas, all the way from treatments that are applied onto the surface of textiles, through to producing textiles that are treated with the Viroblock technology, through to also treatments on surfaces as well as functional goods such as masks and other types of PPE. But the textile treatment itself is the HeiQ Viroblock MPJ03 technology, which is the topic of today's presentation. So HeiQ Viroblock MPJ03 is an antiviral technology, and it's a patent pending combination of two technologies. One is a silver technology, which gives antibacterial and antiviral effects, and the other is what we call a fatty vesicle technology, which acts in combination with silver to give a boosting of the effect. So the treatment is particularly focused on bacteria as well as enveloped viruses. So enveloped viruses include the coronavirus family as well as influenza type viruses. And the treatment is designed to be applied onto textiles and to provide that surface of the textile with activity against these bacteria and viruses that can act quite quickly. In so doing so, the intent here is to protect the textile and to help reduce the potential for carryover of those bacteria and viruses. The treatment onto the textile is designed to be wash durable, so it can be laundered many times and the textile can be reused and maintain its activity. And the treatment has been designed to use quite benign ingredients that are cosmetic grade as well as bio-based. So I mentioned that there are two components within the MPJ03 technology. The first component is based on silver, and silver as a material is recognized as having a strong antibacterial and antiviral effect. And this is due to the silver ions present in that metal actually interacting with sulfur groups that are found throughout the structure of viruses, be it on the outer surface of the viruses or even the internal constituents of the virus. This is quite a broad acting mechanism against different virus types as well as different bacteria types. The second component is what we refer to as the fatty vesicle component. And this is a especially designed component which has a fatty layer that interacts with the cholesterol that surrounds enveloped type viruses. And this vesicle helps to draw off the cholesterol around the virus, weakening the structure, and in turn making it more straightforward and easy for the silver to then interact with the virus and to destroy its functionality. So this fatty vesicle component actually interacts in a physical way with the virus to weaken it and make it more susceptible. And in tandem, both of those components, the silver and the vesicle, lead to a quite strong effect against viruses and bacteria. So the intent here is to address textiles and textile structures. So we mentioned earlier that the large surface within textiles makes them a nice host structure for bacteria and viruses, and potentially to carry over across onto other surfaces and come into contact over a period of time. The intent of treating textiles with the MPJ03 technology is that any bacteria and viruses that then come in contact with the treated textile are then destroyed on the surface of the textile, reducing potential for those to be remaining viable on the textile and carrying over to other surfaces and potential transmission. So treating the textile gives the textile a level of inherent activity against these types of agents that would interact with the textile itself. So this treatment of the MPJ03 onto textiles has been tested not only against influenza virus and a number of other viruses, but also last year we tested this against the SARS-CoV-2 enveloped virus. And SARS-CoV-2, of course, is the virus which is the cause of the COVID-19 disease. Now, in these studies that were performed here in Australia, we looked at aerosols coming in contact with treated textiles. So these aerosols contained the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And the researchers measured the level of activity against the virus caused by the treated sample. And the study showed that there was a virucidal effect against SARS-CoV-2 within 30 minutes. And that activity was more than 99.9% in terms of that effect. In addition to action against a number of viruses, we've also looked at the speed of action against a different type of virus, the Sendai virus. And in that study, we showed that there's activity against viruses in actually quite a rapid rate. In this example, between 2 and 5 minutes. So viruses coming in contact with the textile with the MPJ03 interacts in a quite rapid way with the treatment to lead to this antiviral effect. So the different areas where this treatment can be applied are actually quite general. So if we think about the types of textiles that we have around us in our lives, there are a number of textiles that are actually quite important, of course, in the viral context. So things like protective masks, where there are textile structures used within the construction of the mask. And those layers can be treated with the MPJ03 to give additional functionalization against viruses and bacteria. So too on things like non-wovens, so types of fabrics that are used in other types of PPE, such as surgical gowns, drapes, scrubs, curtains. So types of textiles that are also used in the clinical setting. But also textiles that are used more generally, so things like clothing and apparel, textiles such as carpets, seating fabrics and so on, can also be considered as being relevant to antibacterial, antiviral treatments, such as HeiQ Viroblock MPJ03, as well as textile structures that are used, of course, in things like air filters, which in some ways are an extension of the thinking behind the textiles used in masks. So HeiQ Viroblock MPJ03 has quite a broad spectrum activity against not only bacteria, but also enveloped viruses. It's also a treatment that's been designed to be quite durable in application and can be active more than 30 washes in a laundry context. So thinking about textiles that are used around us, of course, we're quite familiar and engaged with masks and PPE type applications. And of course, that's a very critical application. But there's also a broader context of textile use where our treatments can be considered. So textile treatments, HeiQ Viroblock MPJ03 is a treatment to consider for bacteria and viral activity on those textiles. Thank you very much for your attention.
M4 Medical would like to thank you for watching our presentation. If you need to contact us, please do so on our website www.m4medical.com.au.